Hmm. And what is... There is the stuff. Hmm. Okay, let's see real quick. Cool, that sounds it. I just to set up some more music. Oh. Hmm. Interesting. What was he talking about last time? I was looking at gear shenanigans. Oh wow, that's such an old. That is such an old build. That's insane. Okay, what do I actually want to throw out for gear? Hold up, I should probably check that. That might be a good idea. Hi, Amelia, I see you. Let's see. Obviously, hold up, let me actually just remain. Okay, I think that's probably what I'll do to talk about gear shenanigans. And then... Okay, cool. I'm probably just gonna wait a bit till some people show and then get it started. Let me... Okay, give me... Honestly, I'm probably gonna grab some water and then... Do I want to do that? Yeah, why not? Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna go grab some water and grab something else. Okay, cool. Let me swap to my normal gear and then start the rambles. There's my normal gear. I should probably do this real quick just to make my life easier. Anyways, yeah. As I said earlier, or as is implied, I just want to ramble about Tent, because Tent does not have a lot of information out on it, and I honestly think that's a shame, because this weapon is broken. I'm going to be talking about Tent in a few parts. First, I actually want to talk about just the shotgun, because people like, I mean, sack shield, because people underestimate just this part of Tent. Because just the shotgun of Tent can actually do an insane amount of damage, if you know what you're doing. Then I want to talk about some shenanigans with shield. And from there I'll probably talk about the entire thing in gear. And just go from there if people have questions. This is going to be boring because I want to make sure that information is there, because, yeah, having information there is typically a good thing. Starting with just the shotgun, Tent fires off 13 pellets, and each pellet does 17 damage. But there's a few little quirks with the shotgun that people don't talk about. Excuse me. The biggest one, in my opinion, is honestly the fact that this weapon has 0 fall-off for some reason. Like, I can stand here, and as long as these shots are hitting, they're doing the same 17 damage. And this is, for whatever reason, exclusive to the 10. Because, like, swapping over to, Brella, from here it does... Let's see. Hold up, does this... Hold up, let me do an extreme example, actually. Because I don't think Brella has a very bad fall-off. Wait, I'm so confused. What? Is this not a... No, it does, okay. Swap Brella's typical damage is 16.2. And from here, I'm getting a crisp 10.8. Which really isn't that bad. You can still get a good bit done with it. But for 10, it literally just does not matter. Which means you can get away with a lot more jank. Because, like, from here, as long as these hit, I can still one-shot. Like, I can one-shot from up here if my RNG decides to cooperate. Let's see. Sorry, I have a list of some things that I want to ramble about, so if you hear me go silent, that's why. Because there's a lot of things that you can ramble about with it. Oh yeah, I should also ramble about this bit for Tent. Tent doesn't have jump RNG in the traditional sense, but it still has jump RNG. To elaborate on what I mean. So Tent has a fixed RNG pattern. So like when I'm shooting, it just has a fixed RNG pattern. Like here, there's much more of a focus on top right. Here, it's a bit more spread out, and there's a gap on the left side. Which is fine, it's just what you expect. But when you jump, it makes your RNG worse. And this is literally just because you add more distance. Because from here it's a flat distance, when you jump, you just add more distance to your shot. Which honestly can be totally fine, it just means you have to get closer for it. Because 10's consistent one-shot range, I want to say, is about here. I just prefer being step in. Because yeah, like, its consistent one-shot range is here-ish, but when you start jumping, it gets really finicky. And like, doing 85 isn't that bad, but it's, like, one, you're missing out on a one-shot, and two, it starts to matter at this range. Because at this range, I can semi-comfortably two-shot from here. I say semi because, again, it's RNG dependent, but, like, I can roughly get 2 shots to kill each time. When you start jumping, it just adds more spread. So instead of this being a consistent 2-shot, this becomes a 3-shot. And this matters because a lot of Tents like to play at max range, which I'm going to ramble about that eventually. But a lot of Tents do tend to play from, like, this range. And if you're jumping, it literally is just shooting yourself in the foot. and you gain 0 benefit. Let's see. That should be it for main weapon shenanigans. Now I get to talk about the shield and the fun part and all of that stuff. So there's 2 parts of Tent. This should be fairly known if you're like consistent in the comp scene, but if you're not, oh well. With shield, there's almost 2 states of HP. One is its base HP, which I believe is 700. It might be 800. No, I believe it's 700. So when you're holding shield, you only have 700 HP. Which, due to multipliers and stuff, really isn't that much. Like, holding shield... Can I? Okay, that's tragic. I didn't realize that would kill my entire tank. Here, I'm gonna swap to the other one. But 2 bombs does enough damage to shred a health shield, if I'm not mistaken. Where is S10? Because that has the cheapest sub. Okay, this is gonna be a hassle. Yeah, so like if you see my shield HP, that's roughly half of it, at least when it's held. And I just bring that up because it's important to keep that in mind, because when you launch shield, it can eat 4 bombs. Like, as long as it's not being actively shot at, it can eat 4 bombs, which is an insane amount of damage. And people are used to that, because, like, the easiest way you deal with Tent is you deal with me before I launch shield. Because the second it's out, this is just obnoxious to deal with, especially considering if I get good RNG, you just explode. I'm turning this off before I kill myself with it again. There are a few jank things that you can do with shield, and I'll ramble about that later, because, like, yeah. There's a lot of things you can do with shield. I do want to bring up one big thing with it, which is jumping with it. Because jumping with shield is just as bad as jumping normally, despite what every 10 player in existence thinks. So first, like, when you have shield out, you have a reduced jump height. I just bring that up because it can be helpful to know. You can get around that by jumping just before it opens, and it just looks very long, so you're full hopping with an open shield. But that part really doesn't matter. What does matter, though, is when I'm doing this, shots can peek under my shield. So I'm gonna see if I can get it like this. This will probably take a few attempts, just because I'm not used to fishing for this, because this is something I try to work out of my gameplay. I need not substrate here. Like, if I'm jumping, there's little windows where it peeks under my shield. Or my shield is all the way up. And that matters because you can get shot through that. I can't really get it because the training dummy aims a little high compared to aiming low where most people would be, but eh. It's definitely there and something to be aware of. Oh, I guess the other thing I should talk about with the shotgun before rambling about some stuff with gear and then applying it. With Tent, you actually want to aim lower body, which this is where most people aim to my knowledge, but I've seen some people aim much higher. Like, where is a shooter? Here's 52. Because, like, with shooters and stuff, you can aim at the top. And that's typically helpful because, like, if you jump, you're still hitting their feet. Like, if I aim for the top of someone's head, this will still hit them if they jump. And it catches a lot of people off guard when they're playing Tent. Because with Tent, you need to aim center body. Just because it really increases your odds of it hitting things. Because when you aim high, this is doing, like, 51. And this is very comfortably its one-shot range when you aim down. Like, the reason for this is pretty obvious. Like, you're aiming lower, which just gives you more hitbox to hit. Because you can hit upper hitbox and lower hitbox, compared to when you're aiming up like this, you can really only hit the top. And when you're aiming up like this, you also run into issues if they're in squid form, because you just don't hit them. Where is my water? There it is. You know, I forgot that I put some Gatorade in this. That caught me off guard for some reason. Why did my music kill itself? Sorry, I'm being boring and setting some stuff on my end before I ramble about, or play the weapon and ramble about it. But yeah, like, those are the main things, at least if you're looking at just the data, with 10. Like, if nothing else, just take away, try to actually not jump on a tent, because that helps with a lot of things. Actually, I'm not going to play quite yet, because I want to talk about, like, goals with tent, because there's a few play styles, and to do that, I'm going to go to Recon. You know, I probably should have checked maps first, but whatever. I'll just walk over. You know what? Let's be boring. Let's go Barnacle Zones. The most, like, vanilla stage, but eh. It's good for a reason. So, this is a good use for explaining some shenanigans. Okay. So, like, I'm going to start this off by just saying some of the stuff that I see typically and how a lot of people will try to play. Obviously, you have the typical roles of, like, trying to play Slayer. Like, you're fishing for places up here and you're trying to fight. This is something Tent can do super easily because you have to deal with the fact that just doing this is a consistent one-shot threat. Which is how I think a good chunk of Tents like to try to play. I just don't see it often enough, despite people's skill sets being literally made for it. You obviously have more supportive. So you have some stuff like going here with Tent. You know, on paper, this doesn't seem very supportive. I classify this as more supportive because you aren't starting the fight on your turns, but you're making the fight happen somewhere else for your teammates. I guess it can also lean into skirmish, but skirmish is in action, not a role. But you also have, like, just playing for special and stuff. Because, to be honest, all of all of Tent's kits are insanely good at just being able to paint and work support. Despite what some people think, because I've heard way too many people say, oh yeah, this weapon is terrible at painting for some reason. Why am I getting DMs right now? Who's messaging me? Let's see. Oh wait, what? Okay, let's see. Sorry, I was checking who's messaging me, because what the hell? Why am I getting messages now? um, but yeah, like, Tent can play very supportive and very paint heavy. Like, here, I'm gonna go back to my spawn real quick to show off its paint. Because as long as you're fine investing into ISM, like, you can paint very well. This might not be defined as, like, the best paint, but, raw numbers, like, launch Tent Shield is 80 points to special, if I'm not mistaken. In a simple shot like this is 20 points to special, or 20 paint. Which is very deceptive. I'm not gonna say it's the best in the game, because, like, that's just a lie. But I think it's a lot better than people think. Okay. There's also another thing which you can talk about with Tent, which is trying to play, like, some trapping shenanigans, doing stuff like this. Like, splitting from your shield. I don't like that. I just never was. I started talking about playstyles, not goals, whatever. The main thing I'd say with Tent, like, of where you're trying to go, and goals, at least when you're playing, is you're trying to force the enemy team to make an action. Because, like, if you're just playing the shotgun like this, you effectively have a blaster. It's not quite like that, but it's pretty close in data to range. It just doesn't have that AoE in chip. Which, thank God, if it did, this weapon would be even more broken than it deserves to be. But you have shield, so you don't need to play honest in the slightest. And shield's effectively an extra life. So you can take a lot more greedy positions like this, and just keep moving, and force an action. Because if I go here, for example, and I'm just shooting down and just moving, this forces a response to me. And this response can be them backing up, them going to the side, them trying to get behind it and fight me. Like, there's all sorts of responses, but it still is forcing a response, which is Tent's biggest strength. Because if you ignore Tent, what's going to happen is you're just going to get steamrolled in a few seconds. And that's really the last thing that that's the number one thing that you want to avoid. Because if you get steamrolled by Tent, it's just rough. Sorry, I'm checking something real quick. Okay. But yeah, I did not mean to fire reset. Oops. Like, the big thing with Tent is what's the most forcing action you can do. But the other thing you want to balance is not putting yourself in a spot where everything has to look at you. So, like, for example, if I shield here, not everything can or has to look at me. Because this is gaining attention from, like, their plat dead in front of me, as well as anything on snipe. But that's valuable because you don't need to worry about your sides at all. Or for example, going here, this simplifies a lot because you really only need to watch in front and to your left. A lot of Tents try to play positions like this, and if you're playing a position like this, you're doing something wrong with Tent. And the reason for this is, yes, this forces an action, which is great, but it lets you be shot at from so many angles. Like for Tent, if you can be shot at from 3 different angles, you just kind of lose the game. And that's the last thing that you want to happen. And like, okay, losing the game is hyperbolic, but you kind of just lose the fight unless you're a mechanically better player. Which you totally can be, but I don't think you should rely on mechanics. Because the more other tools you have to rely on, the better you'll do. But yeah, that is at least the basics of Tent, and that should honestly be a good enough starting point for anyone who wants to play Tent. For a bit, I'm probably just gonna play some games of Tent, talk about some goals, and talk about some stuff that I'm looking for, and then talk about gear. This ring rotation looks fun, honestly. Okay, let's see. Okay, there we are. Sorry, I was waiting to get a message back from something. Didn't I finally got it back? Hooray. So, I will preface this by saying I play weird in general. If you know me, you know that already, but because I lean very hard into I'm trying to force the enemy team to make an action. And how I play is I want to make you choose an action, because if you don't, you risk a one-shot. So, like, if I'm playing up there and can get shield, it makes life easy, because it forces an action up front, and it forces some space for objective. But yeah. Like, right here, I'm honestly just gonna play slow for a bit, and yeah, like in this case, I forced a reaction of them popping Wraith. Ooh, this is bad. Yeah, we just lost the game because no one wanted to play in front of Rain. That's crazy. You know what, whatever, let's get one on, I'm not gonna sweat that too much. Like, a lot of what I'm gonna fish for is what is the most forcing action I can do, and then each player kind of has to figure out their own balance of how safe do I want to be, how risky do I want to be, and some stuff like that. I lean towards I do want as much risk as possible because that gives me as much reward as possible. So you'll see that a lot. I guess I'll ramble about some playstyle shenanigans between games. At least to me, the main 2 ways that I see Tent, or how I think Tent should be played, is more supportive or aggressive. Or like fighty and aggressive. Fighty and aggressive is pretty obvious. That's like, if you're looking at my gameplay, that's probably what it's going to look like. I lean towards support, but I also again play different. But fighty is you're literally just focused on how much space can I force up in front, and how many kills can I get, which is super valuable because this thing is tanky. Like, as long as you know how to balance staying on, like, one side of shield or the other, you'll do golden. Okay. And then, yeah. For much more supportive gameplay, it's how can you set up your teammates' fights, or how can you set up things for objective? So let's say that in this case I'm wanting to push forward into like a heavily populated area. I'll use Barnacle as an example. Like let's say I'm wanting to push past their plat. If I'm playing supportive, I'll play for something like this and play for 50s. Like obviously you're not playing for 50s. If you get your one shot, you're happy, but you're ready for 50s. In playing like this and just trying to clear some space and paint is really good because it makes your teammates' lives easier. And this can matter a lot for things like Rainmaker. Because if I'm watching Shield and I'm focused on trying to help my teammates get in by being more supportive, Rainmaker can literally push this entire distance, which I honestly think this is, on most Rain maps, a good 40-50 points. Like, it's a good chunk of points. I guess it depends on the map, actually, because some maps are smaller than others. But, like, still, it's a good 40-ish points, either way. And that's just really helpful because your teammates don't even need to think about it, they just have to fight. Because you can take on the heavy lifting of setting up the baseline of your push. Wow, this queue time is taking a hot second. Thank you, game. Okay. Well, this is gonna be interesting to fight. But yeah, like looking at this comp, I'm still wanting to play mainly supportive. And the way I'm going to do that is I want to make sure that the E-Leader and Hydra are offline for as long as possible. Oh, there's no way we didn't pop that. That's crazy. I jumped and that's why I died there. I was kind of expecting Leader to help pop. And I just didn't see their shot. Right here, I'm just wanting to play up, because I can, again, take a lot of things offline here. And here, I just, like, in playing this way, I'm forcing an action. They have to at least keep their eye on me, or run the risk of just exploding. And in this case, I forced an action which pushed them away from objective, which makes my life super easy. I focus on objective a lot, that's just who I am as a player. Doing actions like that, especially with Tent, can be valuable. Fighting can be just as valuable. Also, I want to just say this with Tent, don't be afraid to force an action without your shield. Like, that's something I'm going to ramble about eventually. But yeah. Like, here's an example. I'm over-relying on shield here, but, like, doing what I am here forced a reaction from Hydra. And their reaction is, we're gonna go backwards, which I can take advantage of. And now I'm forcing a reaction of, you need to pay attention to me or risk getting one shot. And this is super dangerous to deal with as the enemy team, because you don't really get much of a choice. I splash. I'm gonna... okay. I wasn't expecting that storm to do so much damage. Why is my ice strike? Holy. Get me in here. And like here, for example, I honestly just want first action, and I'm gonna push right side. This might just force an action from one player, but if this plays out correctly, this, like, that action is very helpful. And how I'd argue it honestly doesn't even matter, like, how many people you get to react. Obviously, the more the better, but I'm not about to be like, oh yeah, that's the only thing that matters here. Because, like, in me staying behind, this is forcing a reaction from Hydra. In that case, cool, they want to jump out here. Here, I'm just forcing a reaction of, if you don't deal with me, you have to deal with me eventually on top left. You know what, you're not an issue, Splash. I'd honestly say your Hydra is more of an issue. So bye-bye, Hydra. Like, that entire time, I didn't actually see any of my teammates, besides for whoever was pushing Rain. And I didn't even see them, I just know that they are, because, you know, Rain got to where it did. But, like, I'm able to go in and kind of force a 1v3. And now my teammates here are able to get in super free. This is what I mean by, like, forcing a reaction with 10. I'm gonna die to Kraken, ain't I? Okay, goodbye, leader. That was kind of foolish of them, but I guess this is kind of foolish of me as well. Yeah, whatever. Hey, get over here, Hydra. I really want you dead. Eh. I will also say, for some stuff, I really don't think it matters if you get a positive or negative reaction. Obviously, I have a skewed weight for some of the stuff, but like, here, I'm going to just be forcing a reaction, and I can force them to move and look at me. In this case, you can argue it's a negative reaction. I honestly like this reaction because it opens up the left side, and my Dread can get in for free. Again, this is up to each player independently of what they value. For what action you would define as beneficial. That is tragic. I overlooked that leader for a second. Okay. You know what, let's play slow real quick. And if you notice, I am forcing an action on the same side again and again. But like, Tent is kind of broken enough to where it can just do that, because you have a shield. They kind of have to react anyways. And it takes so many resources to break your shield that it just doesn't matter. Like, I can just play up here, have the worst aim possible, because I've not been on very long today. And it just doesn't matter, because shield's so tanky. And this entire time, I've just kind of been chilling in a 1v3. And it's totally fine, because Tent forces as many reactions as it wants to. I'm gonna die for that's fine, we're chilling. Yeah, like in this case, we kind of KO. Or not kind of, we do literally do KO. And I want to look at this game from overhead and point out some stuff with forcing actions, because I really do think that is the biggest part of Tent. And in watching other Tents play, I think that's the biggest piece missing from their gameplay. Is they don't threaten or force enough actions. And again, I know I have my biased taste, but y'all are here watching me, so you're gonna deal with it. Okay. Why did I... Oh, this is from doing Open with Remy last night. We got that with, like, winning 6 games? That's crazy. But yeah, I want to look at this game from overhead and just have a focus on some of what I'm doing. And point out how some stuff works on a macro scale. Obviously, you can argue this doesn't show the full story because it's solo, whatever. I don't like that argument because I really don't think it's productive. Like in this case, this is just, I messed up on opening. I don't mind admitting that I honestly could have just forced Brella. I'm gonna just fast forward through here a bit. But this is kind of where I start forcing a lot more actions. Because I want to find out what happens here with Shield. Like, I may want to go in, and because Shield is what it is, I can force them to pick a reaction or risk the fight. So in this case, if you watch the Junior, I force them back, and I force the E-Leader away, because they have to deal with the threat of me. Like, in this case, I think they play wrong, because they just have to respond. I think they could have gone forward with their Hydra, but eh. Like, here, I can go all the way up on the left side, and if you notice, I'm just repeatedly making the Junior and E-Leader pick an action. And this is helpful because this just lets me get away with a lot. Like, I'm forcing a reaction, and it either gives my teammates something they can work off of, or I can work off of this. So like in this case, I go in and I force a reaction. In this case, Leader's reaction is to jump, their Spray's reaction is they want to shoot me, and Hydra wants to shoot me as well. Like, this works because, again, my teammate can kind of come in and just use that action to their benefit. And again, what's dangerous with Tent is that one shot. Because, like, with the mix of this weapon not having fall off, if you don't react, period, I can one-shot you at max range. Do I have to be lucky to one-shot you at max range? Absolutely. But, like, I can still just one-shot you at max range. And, like, here's a good example. Like, Hydra has to respect what I'm looking to do. Because if they don't, they just risk that one-shot. Like, here, you can see the entire enemy team is being forced to react to me. Because if they don't, like, I'm gonna back up just a touch. And sorry, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but I think this stuff is valuable. Like in this case, I get behind. If Hydra doesn't react, they risk getting one-shotted. So like, let's say right here, Junior and Hydra wanted to run past me. They just have to risk getting one-shotted by me. Like there's no if, ands, or buts around it. And that's really helpful to Tent because the more mechanical practice you get on Tent, the more of a threat you are because, again, you force this reaction. And in this case, they look at me cool, but if you notice, I'm forcing almost 3 of them to react to me now, which lets my teammate move for free. I absolutely play this wrong because I back up too much. Like, here's again another example. This is just forcing so many reactions that, like, I'm able to turn a literal 1v3, or, yeah, no, that was a 2v4 a bit ago, wasn't it? Like, I'm able to turn a 2v4 into an absolute advantage. Because, yeah, like, right here, I am literally... Okay. No, like, this is a literal 2v4, just because you have rain pushing. Like, I'm able to turn a 2v4 into an absolute advantage just by forcing some reactions. Because now my Dread's in, now my Leader's in. And this is just super dangerous to the enemy team. I want to skip ahead a little bit to where some fights break out. Yeah, like, let me go to here. And, like, here's another good example. If you notice, that Leader and Junior have to react in some way to me. And the more consistent I can make them react in a certain way, the easier it is for my team. Because, like, in this case, I do not have the players that I'd want to in this. But, like, imagine if let's say that my Leader was a roller here. This is super dangerous because if they just run forward, I think in one flick, they get a triple. Like, in one flick, they get a triple, in a second, they get a quad. Which is super dangerous. And again, this just forces the enemy team to react to me. You can argue I'm playing wrong here. I can't entirely disagree. But I'm gonna stop looking at this game a bit because I feel like a broken record to myself. Because, like, here, every action I'm doing is forcing some kind of reaction. Like, I'm getting both shooters onto me, which makes life easy. And then I force a reaction out of Hydra, and they just don't react. So they die. Like, it makes it so it's really hard for the enemy team to recover and do much of anything here. Just because things get messy. But, I bring that up and I sounded like a broken record for a good while there because I want to show how I see a lot of Tents play. This might be a touch hyperbolic because I need to upend my entire playstyle to play how most Tents do. Where do I have anything even close in gear to what I do typically play? I don't think I do. This is probably about as close as I can get to it with my current gear. Because I don't feel like making a totally new gear set just for this. This is a little off, but yeah, it's close enough. But what a lot of Tents like to do is they'll change shields, and they kind of just threaten behind it and focus on holding space. So, like, I want to play this game, and if I play it wrong, I'll say so. But I do want to try to mimic how I see a lot of Tents play, and why I say Tents focus should be on forcing action. And then I will probably talk about some gear shenanigans. Because Tent can be very gear expressive, and I don't see a lot of people change their gear build. Which I find to be an absolute shame. I'm also going to probably be silent between games just as a heads up, because, yeah, no. I don't think there's enough things that I can ramble about between games to entirely fill the silence. Okay. But yeah, like, this game I just want to emulate how I see a lot of Tents play. Because it's a lot of, like, this. And if you notice, like, this isn't making the enemy team react different to what I'm doing. Obviously, they have to be aware, and this is probably hyperbolic. I should probably turn it up a notch in speed, but... I'll grab here. Yeah, I got you, teammate. Sorry, I'm playing objective. I do not feel like losing the game. That's fine. I don't care about getting zerked. But a lot of Tents, from what I see, they almost play preventative. So, like, they'll sit here and just stand here. And this is good because it does prevent the enemy team from taking some space. But in this case, it just makes it super risky for me to just stay alive and fight. And obviously, I will admit, this is not what my skill set is in. But, like, a lot of Tents almost just chain Zubras. I need to jump back. I'm playing way too much like normal for my goals. But it's a lot of, like, this, where the enemy team does have to respect you, yes. But you don't make them do something different. Like here, they were already going to move back. I'm not forcing a reaction out of them. Ooh, that jet's unfortunate. God, I hate playing this way. Like, the biggest issue I have playing this way, and before someone says, oh yeah, this is hyperbolic, I have seen way too many people at, like, D5 do this with their 10. So, yes, it might be hyperbolic, but it's there enough for me to want to talk about it. Like, the biggest issue I have with this is, like, shield doesn't get to actually do much. Like, for how strong shield is, it doesn't get to do much. Because, like, if I'm standing here and shielding, yes, this does gain some space, and I can force in more space with Zuka. The issue is, you can get away with a lot more using your shield intentionally to force a reaction when you open it. So, like, to give a good example of this, like, starting my shield here does force a reaction because it's a lot closer to them. And being that much closer helps a ton, because, like, the closer you are, the more consistent your one-shot is. Also, the more threatening it is. So, like, I'm gonna jump in here, because I played a similar situation. If I am staying here, this shield isn't making them do much. Yes, it stops them from going forward. Like, in that case, I played it wrong. I honestly want to get rid of screen effect. But, like, it didn't make them respond different. This shield does. Like, with that shield, it basically forces SD, because if they don't, they die. And yes, I know they were going to SD anyways, but I really don't care that much, because not everyone would SD there. That Zook's unfortunate. Damn, my throat is dry. Like, I'm gonna play how I normally do. Shield, like, starting from up here. Damn, that's how to, okay. I really need to change how I'm playing right now. I am playing way, okay. Sorry, I'm playing way too much to just play preventative right now. Which again leads to issues. So, like, yeah, using the shield here is really threatening because if you don't react different, it just is going to one-pump you. Hi, Chuck. No, that's fair. I probably could have shielded in hindsight. Where is my team? What are we doing for defense? Okay, hold up. I absolutely played that wrong, but this gear just feels so weird to me. That's not pop good. Yeah, like, forcing shields here is a lot more dangerous. In this case, I'm getting bombed. It is more dangerous to me, I will admit. But in that case, if I stay alive, the enemy team has to deal with me or risk those constant one-shots. If I can play a numbers game, I'm going to play a numbers game. That didn't kill, that's tragic. I definitely thought that would hit. Let's... God, this just feels so slow. Hi, buddy. That's fine. It's just the jet. Where are we, S-Boss? Why are we not helping Rain? Thank you. That's tragic. I'm gonna swap back to my normal gear because I was just running into an issue when I wanted to play faster. It's not impossible, but it felt like it. Because I just do not have any of the mobility that I'm used to. Okay, get me off of this gear. I also want to point out I was running back like this is semi-close to how a good chunk of tens play in their gear. Do they play it better? You bet your ass, but this is not my skill set. Like, if you want to fact check me on that, you can look at the review I did on Shadow. Obviously, this was a bit more hyperbolic than that. Did my review on Shadow vanish? It has. Okay. I have it on my YouTube. I can snag it if anyone wants to see it. But when I was reviewing Shadow and Play Tent, they were really good at putting shields which prevented the enemy team from doing something, but it didn't force them to make an action. It's kind of make an action whenever is the most convenient to you. Let me see how fast I can find this panel. Chris is using 2 different emails for things. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna play this much closer to normal. Just because, again, I want to focus on shields. And then I'll look at the game from overhead. I don't want to be down here. You know what, that's fine. But yeah, like, I want to talk about using a shield, like, up here. If you notice, the enemy team literally has to respond, or die. And in this case, Pen died, and Luna just responded for me and died. Or like here, if I'm forcing up for this Brella, just the mere threat of my one-shot is enough to be a massive threat and just put dents in their entire plans. Luna's just gonna nuke him here. Oh, they don't? Like, this entire time when I'm up here, the enemy team has to be aware of my one-shot. In this case, they aren't reacting, so what I should do is just kill them. In this case, I am not ashamed to admit, I am just having a skill issue. Like, in this case, I am just not hitting my shots. But again, I think that's totally fine. Like, my teammates can help pick up slack for me. Like, that's the thing with Tent. Tent is not a 1v4 weapon. Tent is... I can rely on my teammates to get away with absolute crimes. Because, like, here, I'm just going to stand here. Yeah, okay. Good shot, fun. Like, me standing there, if I don't die to Fizzy, it forces a response, or they risk dying. Which is the biggest thing you can do with Tent. Like, I'm gonna pump the brakes here and play this position. Because this honestly isn't the worst position. It's not comfortable, but it's not the worst. Because in this case, I can drag them back just due to the threat, and it's only 2 people up front. Like, in this case, if my Carbon just decided, hey, I just feel like fighting, they have a pretty easy in. And like here, for example, I am making Rainmaker look at me or risk that one shot. You know what? I've had enough of you. I'm sick of you. Sorry, I just do not like fighting Brellas. Yeah, like, I'm gonna do the same thing here. I didn't need to jump there. If I didn't jump, I didn't die. Wow, it's so hard playing the game focusing on speaking. It has been a while since I've done this. I'm swimming in, I don't trust this. Like, when I was trying to push into, like, up here, for example, it's just a threat that they almost have to respond to. And in responding to me, they can't respond to Rainmaker. Which is what I was fishing for. I hate how that didn't break. Yeah, Brella Shield versus 10 Shield gets so jank. Die. But yeah, like this entire sequence, like Splash had to look at me there. If Carbon points a touch faster, it's easy. Or if I'm just better, I win. Because that's kind of always been the thing with Tent, is literally if you are just better, you never die. Like, you never lose. Like, you will never lose an individual fight if you're just better. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's like the skill diff weapon, but like, I'd be lying if I said you can't super easily skill diff people. Okay, Brella. And like, here, if you're noticing, I am making the enemy team look at me just due to the risk of that one shot. Like, Brella and Penna almost had to do something about me, which makes my teammates' life easy because instead of needing to worry about 4 people shooting at them, it's just 2 of them. But yeah, I do want to look at overhead for the game that I lost, and point out like how I was playing slower and how it can be seen as preventative, and then point out why I have issues with it, or why I have issues with playing a bit slower. In preventative. Hell, actually, let me do something a bit different, just since I'm talking about it. Let me apply C-Tent, because I trust my C-Tent a lot more, and my gear is kind of an offshoot of what some people play. Obviously, I have my own differences and biases due to, you know, personal taste, but... again, I'm going to try to play this a lot more preventative. And a lot more just playing paint heavy, trying to keep people away. And... damn, that was a quick queue time. I was about to say, here, let me look for... my channel to... grab something from it, but... I'm not going to complain about a 16-second queue time. But yeah. Again, main focus is just going to be playing preventative to the enemy team. Like, playing for some stuff like this. This is playing so much faster than most people do. I am committed, though. Sorry, I needed to... Going forward in this case is literally just the easiest way to stay alive. I ran out of ink. That's tragic. I'm so used to having more ISM. Hi, Baha. Or Baha. But yeah, like, a lot of what I'm feeling just playing this way is I just don't have much of an impact. And yes, I am being a constant threat. Hell, let me try to play for a bit more threatening of areas. Because I know where Shadow generally plays. Where am I? Yeah, that's where we are. Okay. 50-50 chance of where I needed to deal with that. You know, let me just swim back in here. Thank you. Oh wait, am I not on C10? Oops. I meant to be on C10. Yeah, like, playing like I was there, obviously I can do it better and push further on the left side, which is closer to what a lot of tend to do, but I'm not making the enemy team do something different with their reaction. Like, if I go here and shield, they already have to shoot forward. Like, this isn't making them change their game plan. In contrast, like, playing closer to how I am now, it does force a few differences, because that leader has to do something different. In their case, they dropped, and I'm fairly sure they jumped. And I just forced the threat of, hey, if you do not respect it, you just explode bazooka shots. Alright, get over here. We're done with that. You've had enough fun now. I'm gonna amp back up my speed, because I want to show the difference, because I've been trying to play reactive for about half the game. Like, playing a lot further in and using shields like this is a lot more valuable. Because, like, in this case, a shot literally cannot disengage from my shield if they don't want to risk getting one-shotted. Like, in this case, a roller almost had to look at me. In their case, like they didn't actually need to, They had to look at me for as long as I had Zuka, but that was it. Okay. Also, I'm sorry, I have to ask, how do you have a Hornet badge? How does one acquire such a badge? Why is my music being weird? I'm gonna get hit by maps and modes have updated before I can get to the terminal, ain't I? No, I'm pleasantly surprised. Oh, that's interesting. The more you know. Actually, wait, why am I looking at this when I literally played half and half last game? It's such a better game to look over. Sorry, if you can't tell my brain isn't working at full right now. Which, tis what it is. Give me this guy. Anyways, yeah. I do want to look at this game and look at it from over. I really was playing C10, wasn't I? That's hilarious. Or not C10, S10. That's hilarious. I wanted to play the Mist Kit. Oh well. Like, I want to find out the difference. Hell, even in this play. Like, starting my shield so far back is on paper fine, because it plays very preventative, and I can keep the enemy team from going left side. The issue I have with it, though, is it doesn't force them to play different. Because they can't always just say, I don't care about your shield, and run past it. Does that involve a lot of risk? Yes, but still. And hell, let me use, like, here as an example. Because I just played up by mistake, because that is my default. Like, this leader and shot literally have to run the risk of getting a one-shot if they don't fight me. And even if they fight me, they still have to run the risk. Like, because of shield and how fundamentally it changes the game, basically everything but the Dapple has to worry about the risk of getting one-shotted here. And it lets me simplify a lot of things. Because, like, in this case, I'm literally able to just hold 2 people off for free. Like, if you don't notice, I literally held off a 1v2, and then I would have been able to hold off another 1v2 if I was running, like, any of my normal gear. Because the build that I have is assuming I'm dying a lot to be getting that use of comeback. Like, this makes my S-Blast's life significantly easier. And then if I remember correctly, this is when I started pumping the brakes and playing a bit more preventative. So yeah, like, this shield, on paper the shield is fine. Like, this gains some space, and it makes sure the enemy team can't really push forward. But I invite a lot of pressure onto me, and 4 people can shoot at me. So the shield really doesn't accomplish much of anything. And like, if you notice, the enemy team doesn't actually have to deal with me. Like, in this case they do, but this is such an overreaction. Like, how I'm playing here does not really make the enemy team change how they are fundamentally playing. The fact that leader didn't hit that shot is a miracle. But yeah, like... Yeah, hold up, let me... Also, it was only here when I realized I didn't have mist, which is hilarious because I wanted to throw it. Like, here for example, that shield doesn't accomplish much of anything. Like, in that case, if I play it faster or slower, it makes more sense. I think typically a lot of people would play slower there. I prefer to play faster. I was getting caught in between that. Like, here for example, this shield is on paper fine. Like, it makes the enemy team back away because of the threat to the one-shot. But I invite a ton of pressure onto myself, and it doesn't make them continuously change what they're needing to do. Nor do I think it's really a consistent or good strategy, but not about to say it's the worst. I'm gonna fast forward through to about here. Actually, no, just let's play out. I forgot that I kind of forgot that we came out of this game. Because I think it's around here when I actually ramp back up the speed. And I just want to find out the difference, because you can notice it fairly easily. just in my actions. Like, I almost threaten Shotten into needing to deal with me, and I'm able to deal with leaders super easily. And then, like, here, for example, as soon as I'm in, I'm going forward and just forcing an action. Because, like, in this case, I go forward and I threaten this one-shot. Roller doesn't even know I'm coming, so I hit my one-shot. Cool. I go forward, I threaten the one-shot on the shot, and dapples. Shot keeps their eye on me, so they don't worry about rain. I hit my shot, and I'm effectively holding off a 1v3 now. And yeah, like, the second that I start, like, the second that you start having making each shield, or, hold up, let me reword that. The further up you can place your shields, the more the enemy team has to react. And if every shield that you can launch forces a reaction, you're doing something really right. Because if they have to react, they can't breathe. And if they can't breathe, that means your teammates can shoot them. Honestly, I was not expecting it to be Silhouette, or, X and, or, Rain and X, holy. Let me, okay. I did say that I wanted to talk about some stuff with your shenanigans, and I do actually want to talk about that, because a lot of people don't talk about Gear with Tent. This isn't perfect, because I don't have the traditional Tent build. This is fairly close to it. It's kind of QR heavy, and typically I think there's more special saver. I don't value special saver at all, but I'm weird. Like, this is what a lot of tents will typically run. And it can work because you can play, like, super fight heavy. Like, I have nothing against QR with... Okay, no, that's a lie. I understand why people run it. The issue I have with it is you play tent, you literally should not die if you play this thing properly. And I really don't think QR is that beneficial. But again, I have my own biases because of how I play. So I'm not going to deny that fact. The other semi-common gear build is mobility. And then I'll talk about some niche ones. But like, these are the two that I typically see. I've seen more mobility builds of late, which thank God. I honestly think they're better. But like, what this build is trying to do is it's saying, okay, I'm just going to be able to play around shield and effectively be invincible. So why not have tools to help win the fight? Because I feel like being a touch hype. Because like, I want to show some stuff with run speed. Because I've not told a ton of people this of late, but like, I enjoy like 3 mains of run speed on 10. And I think it's absurdly good. Because what it does is between shots, 10 is basically doing a dodge roll. And like, here, let me take off my run speed. This has 0 run speed. This is how I'm moving between them without it. Like, in one shot, I'm going about the same distance as I go in 3 without any run speed. And this is just an insane boost to staying alive. And then the other thing which you can play into is, let me throw in like 3 mains of swim. Here we go. When you play like super swim heavy, you aren't playing around your shield so much, but you're playing around the fact that you can get into this range. Intent is a monster point blank. Because this is super hard to track. They can go for a one-shot shield and then move. So like, you have a few mobility builds. I honestly just prefer a balance of the two. Something I strongly recommend to almost every 10 player to at least experiment with is experiment with running 2 mains, or not 2 mains, 2 subs of run speed. Where is my old build? Here it is. Like, this is a super old build that I used on Ascent when I played it. And if you notice, there's 2 subs of run speed. The reason there's 2 subs of run speed is you can hold forward at full speed and mash the ZR button. And if you notice, I'm staying perfectly with my shield. And that's just super beneficial because it makes your life easy when you're moving. Because like here, if I notice something goes behind me, cool. I just do this and I can be on the other side. And like it helps in 1v3s and stuff. So like let's say something gets behind me, I just stay here and I can spam shots. Like I think if you want to play more supportive, experiment with Invincible main and run speed. Because there's a really potent combo. But again, like I would at least recommend playing around with 2 steps of run speed. Because it is super, super valuable. You know what, screw it, let's make the stream go long. I'm gonna throw on as much swim speed as I have. Actually, no, I'm gonna run my dedicated swim build. This is a touch less QSJ than I'm used to, but like this is the fastest build I can do in terms of just raw swim speed. And I want to play this for a game and just show some shenanigans with it. Wait, did my... Hold up, sorry, need to plug in my computer real quick. Why is it not charging? There we go. Wait, oops, I did not mean to press it there. But yeah, like, this build is literally just pure swim speed. And I want to show some of the benefits and gimmicks with it. I think on paper, if you're looking at what's the fastest tent build possible that you can run... Oh, I'm not running V-Tent, no! I don't like this tent kit. S-Tent is my least favorite of the kits, but eh. Like, I think if you're looking at what is... Like, if you want to look at, like, absolute perfection of the game, and with tent, it's probably a swim-heavy build. And it's just because you're such a big threat at literally all times. Like, if I were to take a guess at something that's probably optimal, it would probably be, like, 2.2 swim, 0.2 run, 0.2 QSJ, south jump, and then probably 3 subs of Increz. And you just ignore Inksaber main. But again, that's talking about perfection. And perfection is not a standard that you should care about. You can try to get as close to your images of perfect as possible. That's what you should fish for. But perfect isn't something we can accomplish as humans. We can make something which can be perfect, but we will not be perfect ourselves. But yeah, I'll play a game of super swim heavy and then a game of super run heavy. And then we'll start talking about some niche builds. Because I love the niche builds. The niche builds are my favorite and I just never run them. But yeah. With this much swim speed, something that is really helpful is knowing how to play without your shield. And I will probably ramble on that later. I'm gonna just go this way, because I want to prep the left side. I know you're watching me, Roller. There you are. I saw it's ink for a second, so, like, me staying up here is helpful in this case. I'm just playing objective more than I am how I would typically play, but eh. Objective is totally fine. I'm also playing slower than what I should do with swim. Oh, shit. That's sad that hit. I actually think I jumped. I think that's why that hit. Eh. Ooh, roller's flanking. That's gonna be a threat. Yeah. Well, like, at this point, I actually have a good bit of ink to work with, and we have objective, and we're actively pushing. And I can just play insanely fast with that swim. I'm gonna play for another game, just because that... I did not use my gear at all. Okay, wait, I want to... Yeah. Honestly, what I'll probably do for this game instead is just play purely into fighting and just ignore objective to the best of my ability. And I'm not about to pretend like I'm going to succeed at that, but I will do my best to show where like swim speed thrives. Mm-hmm. I was going to say one con of being in JPX is queue times, but yeah, it's going to be about the same no matter if I was in NA as well. If not worse, considering it's Rainmaker. Which is a shame, because I love Rainmaker. I think this one's great, but... Which, honestly, I probably should just do a stream on Rainmaker one day, but that sounds boring. You know what? No. Let's not be boring. Let's play into the fight. Ooh, that's a shame. My feet got painted. Also, for some stuff like that, like in my case, I prioritize speed over everything. But like if I took a second, I actually could have opened shield. And opening shield paints your feet. Okay, let me just do this. Damn! That leader really hates me and everything connected to me. That's crazy. Whatever. I can actually play into my swim speed now, so... I really don't care about that Brella. But yeah, like, what I just did that S-Blast of being able to get him point blank almost instantly is why swim speed is so dangerous. Like, I don't think the current X rotation is really good to show, like, where this build thrives. Like, if you want to see where this thrives, play zones. Like, this build is an absolute monster on zones, just because the game takes so long. And clans to a certain degree, but zones is the easiest. But yeah, like, I know there's an S-Blast somewhere over here, and the second that they miss, I can just swim into point-blank range, and it just doesn't matter. Like, I played it wrong because I just didn't read right, but why am I getting more DMs? I'm going to lose it. Oh wait, you live? But yeah, like, really swim-heavy builds can get away with some of the shenanigans I'm looking to do now, just because it's so hard to pin them down. I don't care about you, Brella. I'm just gonna go forward. As long as we can force left side, we win. Because I have back online. Anyways, I saw that leader up there, so I can just do this. Like, that is where swim speed builds thrive. Oh, you died. I'm gonna need my teammates to pick up the slack and pick up rank. Thank you. Shit. Oh, I didn't realize, what role was on me. Hey, who's DMing me? Okay, Yoshi, I'll get back to you after the stream, Chief. I know that they're just gonna force objective by me. I don't really mind here because I don't think I get the choice to. Like in this case, I'm just going to use as much of the swim speed as I have. Because I am just hard to pin down here. Wait, why are we changing directions? Like, I don't disagree with this, but... we should have just gone here in the first place, because now I'm like a mile away. I really hope that my teammate just grabs. Please? Please be a deer and grab. Thank you. Perfect. Anyways, I now get to abuse it even more, because with some builds, I can just force behind and be a massive threat in an instant. Now that we have at least a very decent lead, I can just play fight heavy, and I love it. If you want to play for faster builds like this, using Squirtles a lot helps. God, I really want to respond to Yoshi right now. I hate when someone messages me mid-game, because it really messes with me. Hi, enemy team. Ooh, I forgot about the fucking storm ball, because I saw Storm and I'm like, oh, that doesn't hit me. It does. What are we doing, E-Leader? You know what? I'm just gonna mute Yoshi. But yeah, like right now, I'm just gonna go full forward and fight. Damn. Good shot, Leah. But yeah. Oh, okay, S+ is gonna flank. Also, that's another good use of swim. Like, in that case, if... I'm fairly sure if we were both synced up, I'd swim out of that faster than they shoot. Not always, but in that case... What do you mean that hit? Oh, auto, okay. But yeah, let me throw on a good run heavy build. Or run speed heavy build to show that and show the other side of mobility. Where is that super run heavy build that I have? Wait, hold up, I have this build actually. You know, I kind of like this build. Yeah, sure. Anyways, now that you're watching the stream, I don't need to keep my DMs open with you since I want to respond to that frame 1. And I'm muting your ass so I don't even see your post. Or see your message. Yoshi, I am playing the tent that I prefer. Trust me, I'm going to talk about all the tent stuff, or all the tent kits later. I disagree with you there. Wait, hold up, no, you're saying C10 is a less than everything, no? Is my brain fried? That is the less than symbol, no? Anyways, again, like the main thing with run speed is it's really hard to actually pin you down in a fight to hit you. And you can take full advantage of that. Goodbye to your message. Thank you, Automod. But yeah, like, in a scenario like this is where Run Speed 10 really thrives. Because I can just walk around. Hi, Microwave. Let's see. Cool. Now I can just go forward. I will say, like, playing this way is definitely something where, again, like, knowing shieldless helps, because you get to abuse it all the more. That's tragic, the pain in my feet. I'm trying to play, like, I have way too much swim speed. I do not. Damn. Yoshi, no. Go fuck yourself. I'm not forced to. Goddamn, they really just like playing my feet. I'm also going to hide chat because I want to focus on rambling about things compared to shooting Yoshi down, because he's saying insane things, as always. But yeah, like, this is where Run Speed 10 can be really nice. Is on great. Damn, yeah. I stepped in front of shield. That is the one downside of Run Speed 10, I will say. You have to get used to a different speed with shield, which can get you killed a lot. Because, like, here, I'm gonna want shield. I have to be really, really careful of how fast I go with it. Because if I go too fast, I just step in front of shield and get bombed. You know what, screw it. Let's go right side, I want to fight. That's one jump, that's one swim. Go. Damn. Unfortunate to miss like that. Right now I'm kind of just running into an issue of this stage likes to be narrow. Where mobility gear really thrives is on, like, wider maps. So on things like Umami, it really does well. Like Umami, Barnacle, the obnoxiously large maps. Hell, Lumeria is probably a good one. I just have not ran heavy mobility gear. You know what? Let's do this. Let's just walk around up here. A lot of what I'm going to focus on is just staying alive, or just fighting. Because, like, getting to use run speed up here is dangerous. Because that's where you get to abuse the fact that you basically have a dodge roll between every other shot. And you get insanely lucky with that. Alright, Yoshi. I really don't mind it, I'm mostly just focused on rambling about some stuff on stream. Normally I'm fine, I'm just trying to, you know, teach 10, because this weapon has negative resources. Okay, I guess that's not true, there is, like, 2 big resources, but neither of them really talk about Tent in full. Gambit Tent is great, I was literally about to bring that up if I didn't already. Like, Gambit gives you, both. Gambit gets you both, but Gambit requires you to be very good. The campsite's there, but the campsite isn't, like, a video or something. Anyways, I do want to play a game of Gambit, because, like, this is my typical build, if I feel like playing Gambit or something. I prefer a bit more swim speed and just how I play naturally. That's just personal taste. I can't disagree that it's better to at least have an active server. I'm just saying, it's not a video or something. Like, there is not an easy to digest resource. Hell, I'm not even going to say that this is easy to digest, but this is easier because you can watch it and see it. But yeah. Also, it's so funny because I've spent like 5 games now just talking about mobility builds. Because mobility builds are very, very different in general. They did, but I really didn't find it that helpful. Like, the big issue that I have with, like, the main 10 resources that have been out, is, like, it doesn't talk about, like, some of the big goals of 10. Like, that yes, you do want to be shoving your throat down their, or not your throat, you want to shove your shield down their throat. I don't know, like, I don't think it's the worst, I just think it misses out on a lot of things, and I think it's super S10 focused, which is a shame. Like, it feels so generic for how much Tent can do, which is my big issue with it. Anyways, welcome to Gambit. This is my favorite build type. Because I can just move Mach 20. In like 15 seconds, I already have a beacon in their spawn, and I can just double back. Cool. Thank you, swim speed. Thank you, beacons. Hi, buddy. I hate spawn armor, and I hate Brella. Yeah, except for finish shield because of run. That's fine. A lot of what I'm fishing for here is just the fastest fights possible. Because I will admit I am not in the best mindset for winning, because I was trying to show off run speed and swim builds. Shit. Hi, Nautilus. I'm gonna take you down with me, buddy. Never mind. I didn't take my finger off the trigger fast enough. Whatever. Like, a lot of what I'm doing right now is I can just abuse mobility, and I can kind of just get away with some insane fights. I'm gonna help you pop here. Perfect. Die. I know Not's gonna stare me down. I'm just gonna run past it. That's one dead. My Gambit's ran out by now, but that's fine. Like, the main thing with this build, if you're noticing, I just have more tools to get into and win a fight. Which is really the big thing that you're fishing for with this kind of build. It makes it easier to start and finish them. I'm swimming in because I don't trust what the swoosh is doing. Oh shit. I should have just forced it in there. I am not playing at ineffective range. Okay. I'm gonna go through up here because I can just force shield. Ooh, I don't like this. We have way too much down here. I ran out of ink at the worst time possible. That's tragic. Yeah. That is something which is very helpful with 10, obviously, is Ink Saver main, because this weapon isn't cheap. Did I already mute that this channel 3 hours ago? That's crazy. Like, here, let me... Like, here, let me search up a time around that, or... I want to find the video that you're talking about, Microwave, because I watched it before. I don't remember why I dislike it so strongly. Because, yeah, like, it is absolutely and purely focused on S10, which is a big issue I have with it. The other issue I have with it is, hold up, sorry, I'm looking here. Give me 4 minutes. I want to watch this video and talk about it. Wait, hold up. Which one of my builds was I using before I was doing Gambit? I was using a run heavy build. Like, this is what I was running. Okay. Sorry, I just watched a bit of the Ori video. One of the biggest issues I have with it, watching it, is it talks about, like, it almost talks about what Tent can't do, and I disagree with a lot of it. Because, like, it was talking about, like, oh yeah, Tents and stuff struggle into, like, they struggle into the bows and the tanas and stuff, which I really disagree with, or it struggles to specials. Like, the video is there, it's fine, I just don't like it. Like, keeping it simple, I just don't like it. Anyways, let's talk about some fun random shenanigans. Um, Something with Tent, and in particular Estent, that I think people really should mess around with is tenacity. And the reason I say that is, like, tenacity in particular is crazy with Tent, because Tent already can get an insane amount of specials. And tenacity has like has insane numbers. Like, if I remember, it's 5 points to special for every second that you're a player down. What gear do I want to run with this? Let's do this. This is good enough. Yeah, like, if you're focused on just staying alive with SN, this build is brutal. Because, like, here, I'm just gonna launch shield, and shoot 4 times. Because I want to show how close I am to special. Like, I'm already fairly close to special just from that. And, like, if I do this and I get anything with tenacity, I basically get a full special. What's a good... let's do tower control. Let's show how bad this can be. Because, yeah, like, if you pair this with, like, tower control, for example, realize you can get, like, 10 points to special for free. And that's, like, a second. You can kind of get into some crazy shenanigans with it. Yeah, no, tenacity is a low-key broken if you have a special that you can spam. Like, V and C10 don't have it, but this kit can just cycle Zukas for no reason. They buffed it by giving it an extra point to special per second. So it's not the most insane, but it is very impactful. I can't. So yeah, I'm gonna try to play slower. So I'm probably going to fumble a lot because I'm not used to playing slower. But the benefit is, my team has to really fight happy weapons. And if they die, I just get tenacity for free. No. I love how I say, oh yeah, I'm gonna play a bit slower, and then I just instantly start moving up. But yeah, like, if you can start chaining Zukas just from living, this weapon is brutal. Like, in my case, I'm playing the furthest up just because old habits die hard. I got nothing. Okay, let's run the thirst down. Like, yeah, like right here, if you notice, oh, look at my special, that's passive. Like, I literally gained an entire bar of special by just living. I'm moving slower than you'd expect, but I'm still playing faster than I should for what I'm wanting to do. Like, I'm 1 player down. Like, look at my special right now. Look at that. That's all passive. And now I can play for some positions like this. In anything that I do, it just has the lingering threat of Zuka. Like, if you can play and just stay alive, this thing gets so many specials for free. Yeah, and like, here I can get basically an entire full special bar just by doing nothing. If you want to play a slower 10, which I honestly actually have zero issues with if you're playing into it correctly, and by that I mean, like, you aren't just playing slow because you find it safe. Like, if you're playing Tent slower to just be, like, an anchor and stay alive, this can be super dangerous just because you have Zuka every 2 seconds. Also, if you hear my cat crying downstairs, no you don't. But yeah, like, here's another good example. Look at how much special I get just by existing right now. Yeah, like, I got basically 4 bars of my special because I was alive. It's a low-key kind of stupid. Yeah, like, the way that Tenacity works is you need to be players down. So, like, if it's 3-3, it doesn't matter. But if it's 2-3, then you get it. But you only get, like, 1 player's worth. You don't get multiple. Which is why some people don't like it. I honestly think it's fine even with that. Because it literally can just be a failsafe of, okay, we aren't winning fights. Let's just use specials instead. I'm not playing that game down there. That looked dangerous. So yeah. Like, right now I'm kind of just gonna play slower or I'm going to just play safer here. Because I can afford to do that. Because the longer that I actually sit in this corner, the more special I'm going to get by painting or by my teammates being dead. And like, even in that case, oh no, I died, but look at where my teammate is now. Like, if you want to play Tenacity, you can kind of just wedge yourself into the worst spots possible for the enemy team to deal with. And just say, I don't care, you can't get me out. And if they try to get you out, have a surprise Zuka. Go and scan. Yeah, so like here, I'm gonna jump out. This isn't what I would typically do, but look at my special right now. Like, this is just passive. It's kind of crazy. Because, like, I can wedge myself into a spot here now. And just because I am playing Tent, and I am playing a privileged weapon, I don't need to worry about the game. And I'm not going to say, like, oh yeah, this is the best way to play Tent. I don't think it's a bad way to play Tent. It's just not what I like doing, but I want to throw it out as an option, because it is an option. And the more options you have on Tent, the more broken you can be. Like, hey buddy, come on, hit your shot. Congrats, you played yourself. Like, Tent is OP, but if you tune it one way or another, you kind of, like, you either overbuff it or you overnerf it, because I think Tent is kind of in the perfect middle ground. Like, if you really want to nerf it, you give it fall off, and that's it. Like, you give it fall off, or you give it some extra RNG at the edge of its shot. Anyways, if anyone is watching this after the stream, yes, I know I actually didn't get that many specials in reality. Keep in mind though, I average like 2 because of how I typically play, and it's playing fairly standard for how I play. Like, these really can just chain you specials if you play into it. It's just not something that I do because I don't value it. Like, again, mess around with it on your own time. You will probably find it a lot more helpful than you'd think. I will say you have last ditch builds. I really don't like last ditch builds. Because really all that it is I just want to spam subs and paint. Which, like, if you want to do that, do it with the new tent. Do it with the new tent more than anything, because you can just throw out like a billion numbers in paint. Just because you have so much stuff you can fire with, you can keep people away with mist. And you can spam jumps and stuff, but like, I don't think it's all that helpful. I just now realized I'm going to be locked into playing another game. I can't just ramble about gear. Oh no. You know what? With that being the case, I'm going to do something funny. I want to talk about an ability that I think more tents should at least experiment with, especially when they're new. Because thermal is insanely fun, and I think when you're learning, it's insanely helpful. Because thermal isn't always the most helpful, I will admit. But any of these pellets hit, and suddenly behind your shield, you get thermal for free. If you get thermal for free behind your shield, and the other massive benefit is, like, you just get to see them. Like, because you don't actually have to worry about fall off, you can kind of just fire shots at someone. So knowing where they are behind walls is a lot more beneficial. Like, you kind of get the best of, this kind of feels like what Blaster would be if thermal worked on indirects. God, this feels so slow. I ruined myself by playing like 2 minutes of swim speed, 2 minutes of run speed, and then gambit. Because this is my normal speed. This is taking a second for Q-time, holy. Also, sorry, I just am looking at KD from last game now, but how did I do Tetris job better than 8 did? Like, I got more kills and I think I got a lot more attention on me. Yeah, you literally got popular target. Tetris, what were you doing, buddy? Like, I also almost with no QR matched their dads. Like, come on. Sorry, I'm just complaining for the sake of it, but makes me lose my mind. Okay. Anyways, yeah. It's why is someone's name fixed series? It's fine. Oh my Lanta. But yeah. Like, I'm just gonna be playing with thermal and trying to just show some benefits. It's really passive to me. But I do think it's there, and it's worth messing around with. Again, I really don't think this is the best stage to show it on. But I also don't think it's the worst. Also, like, just a reminder, like, thermal lasts a year. Like, I think how long thermal officially lasts is, like, 20 seconds on a hit, and you get 13 pellets. I'm trying to show Gambit, or thermal behind shield way too much. I am trying to be way too fancy right now. I also wasn't really expecting to play with this gear, but it is what it is. I don't care about your 52. Yeah. We just got power and go, right? Okay, goodbye 52. Why does my music keep killing itself? This is so sad. But yeah, like, I'm gonna just kind of push in here. If I, yeah, like, in this case, if I hit a shot on that 52, I just know where it is. Like, thermal's kind of slept on, because the idea of thermal is always like, oh yeah, it's if you're missing, but Tent can kind of just get some shots on people for free. I'd encourage people to at least mess around with it. Okay, I'm turning back. Why does my music keep killing itself? I just want to listen to music and have fun. Is that too much to ask for? Apparently YouTube says yes, it is too much to ask for. Yeah. Also, like, here's another benefit just with it. Like, just using shield. You can see basically where anyone that you hit is. I'm going forward because I need to turn up my speed. Come on, 52. Okay. Does the bucket want to take a fight? They do. Cool. Hey, get me over here real quick. Damn. I am really getting sensory overwhelm right now. Just overloaded because of like 90 things at once. Okay. Oh well. Oh, goodbye. Okay, let's try to... yeah, no, you absolutely feel the effects of thermal more when you don't think about it. It also is a thing of, like, kind of the slower that you play, the more you feel it. Like, the slower you play when it's on slower modes. Like, thermal does not fit how I play the game at all anymore. However, I do think it is still useful. And I'm... Like, the reason I'm almost overthinking it is, like, for me to get a good bit of use out of it, I have to be thinking about using it to a certain degree. Hi, Bucket. Yeah? Hi, get over here. No, you're not getting away with that, 52. Rush, you need to go force that. Rush, you are literally invincible. You're a coward, Rush. Yeah. No, I actually do like special power on Button. My answer for a lot of things in general for gear is experiment with like 1.1. Because 1.1 is kind of that cost of, it's not insanely costly, but it gives a ton of value for how much it is. I'm going up here. I want to fight this spray. Hi, butter. Yeah, come on. Give me attention. Thank you, 52. You're giving me the attention I demand. I don't think yeah, no, my teammates have to get tower, I think. I whipped that shot, okay. Wow, we just really didn't go for tower at the end. That's crazy. I'll probably try to play another game of Thermal with it. Or on intent. Because again, I really do stand by this being beneficial. Especially like when you're learning Tent. It's super, super helpful. Get me out of this though, because I want to talk about some other gear stuff with Tent. Just because I find it helpful to talk about it. This is personal taste. I don't actually like Haunt. I don't like Haunt for a lot of the same reasons I don't like QR. Just because, again, you are playing an immortal weapon, or what should be immortal if you played it correctly. The other thing is, if someone else kills someone who you're haunting, your haunt just doesn't matter. Like if haunt was permanent until you killed them, I'd like it a lot more. Talking about NS, like NS can be really helpful, especially because fun fact about NS, where is none of my swim speed gear? So look, I only have 2 steps of swim speed. This is normal 10 swim speed. Like, because it's a heavyweight, you can make up that speed super easily. Just with swim speed. Like, you need 2 stubs, and suddenly you're back to your normal speed. And you can easily run something like this. Like, this is what I used to run in the past. And this is, like, just having, like, 2 stubs of swim speed on 10. Like, this is not a bad speed for 10. I don't feel like I'm so sluggish. Intent benefits a lot from it, because if you can just vanish, like, it's so hard to track you when you just hide yourself behind shift. I'm not gonna play a game of Ninja Squid with it, because to me, Ninja Squid is kind of one of those abilities of, if you like it, you like it, if you don't, you don't. I've kind of been leaning towards I don't like it on Tent in particular. It's not bad, it's just personal taste, because I really just prefer having more swim speed. Like, I would heavily encourage people to try it. You know what, screw it, I'll play a game of... Let's go into X Rank and suffer. I'll play a game of NS10. Typically I'd run more swim, but eh. Because I want to show this, because 4 subs of swim speed is really light. Like, I'm basically running the equivalent of a main of swim speed. And yes, I know arguably it's 1.1, I really don't care. I'm effectively running a main of swim, and I just want to show how it works with Tent like this. Because it's super beneficial. I just have personal gripes, but eh. And then I can ramble about some other stuff. I will just ramble about it between games. I actually do strongly enjoy Respawn Punisher Tent. And I think Respawn Punisher Tent is insanely good. The biggest issue that I actually have with RP Tent is you have to be really good at the weapon first. But if you're good at the weapon and you feel consistent in your fights, run it. Like, because the weapon is basically immortal, you really don't run into any of the negatives. Because, like, if you play it right, you just shouldn't die. And it's just kind of a thing of, you get to shut down QR weapons for free. And being able to shut down QR weapons for free is super beneficial. Because things like Tetra, Wiper, Stamper, Brella can fit there, brushes can fit there. Like, a lot of the really dangerous up-close weapons tend to run a lot of QR. And if you don't know, you need 2 pairs of QR to respawn at the normal speed. And even without that, there's an extra penalty to something special when you kill them, which is super beneficial. So, like, I heavily encourage people to mess around with it. Again, the one issue, you have to be good at the weapon. It's not a weapon that it's not a build that you want to experiment with when you're not used to Tent. Also, like, what I'm doing now, this is where NS10 thrives. Because I kind of was able to just launch shield and just vanish. Because, like, it's really hard for them to know where I am. Especially because, like, here, I just swim by. It's hard to track because of NS. In this case, I died, but, like, oh no, the whore, I held off a 1v3, like... I kind of forced a 1v4 and held it for a while. Like, I really don't think I'm doing that bad for myself. Okay. Right now, I'm gonna play on the fact that they're just gonna pop right in. And I can just vanish here now. Like, that's the danger of NS10, is if you lose track of it, you almost permanently lose track of it. Yeah, like in this case, I ended up getting shield shredded, but again, like, the enemy team is having such a hard time pinning me down. I'm about to die to S-Blast. Yeah, okay. I really need to stop looking at stream chat, like, whenever I get bored. Because it's not doing me any favors in game. Die. We just need to guard ring here. Yeah, good kill. We should be pretty fine here. Yeah, perfect. But yeah, like, this is another moment where, like, NS10 shines. Because I can just sneak in here for free. And once you're in, it's... Like, I know I sound like a broken record, but... Tent is just stupid because it almost gets to play its own game because of its shield. Like, if there's something I really want to do with Tent, odds are I can probably do it. just because of shield spam. Like, this weapon really is broken and has so many avenues of how it can play. It's why I get sad when people just don't change how they play, especially with Tent. Because, like, Edit literally did not know I was there until I whiffed. I mean, yes, eventually people will stop falling for it, but you have to keep in mind, I'm getting in your face like this, and then I'm vanishing. Like, it's hard to keep your entire focus on, yeah, I'm gonna track the ripples. Like, that's what's dangerous. Because if you're playing Tent properly, you're looking at shield. Like, if you're trying to fight Tent properly, you have to keep an eye on their shield. And because you have to keep an eye on their shield, you aren't looking for them to swim out of it. So, like, me shielding here, it's hard to keep an eye on me because you are looking at shield instead of me. So just by existing, I can vanish for free. Like, I have done this 7 times, and they fall for the same trick. And you can say it's like, oh yeah, it's just them being bad because it's solo queue or something. But it's really hard to pin it down. Like, it's just so hard to pin it down because, like, how do you pin down something you can't see? Because it's almost a thing of, like, in martial arts. Keep in mind I'm talking about weapon martial arts. I have no idea about, like, traditional martial arts. Just because I don't know enough about that. But I'm obsessed with anything weapon martial arts, so I wanted to throw them off the map. Yeah, like, look at this. But as I was going to say before, I got rudely interrupted and had to win a 1v2. In weapon martial arts, when you're focused on a fight, you're so focused on what the enemy is doing, what the, like, opposing weapon is doing, that you're hypersensitive to things. But it's why, like, in a fight like that, if you just scream at them, it catches people off guard. Because you're hypersensitive. You aren't expecting them to do that. Yeah. Like, NS is basically having a different strategy entirely. It's not restricting yourself to a specific one. Because, like, keep in mind, if you're good enough, you can run Gambit NS. And, like, you basically just get NS with all of the benefits. Obviously, you do have the cons of you don't have any, like, mains to, like, swim speed or to, like, enslave main. But that's fine. Like, Tenta is a weapon where if you're confident, you can get away with basically anything. Like, let me see if I have a half-decent build, which, you could use just for 10. I don't think I have anything in particular with Gambit, because most of my Gambit builds are focused to one thing over another, but, yeah, like, doing something like this in a build actually doesn't restrict a lot, and this gives you pretty close to what I'm used to. I'm not gonna run this just because I'm sorry, no. Actually, yeah, why not? I'll do it. I'm gonna bring some things for time, but I need to remember it's a Friday. I don't care. Like, this is slower than what I like. I prefer having more swim speed, period. But this is pretty close to my normal build. Or not normal build, but this is pretty close to at least my, like, minimums. And at least for the first 30 seconds, and if I get a kill to extend it, you'll probably notice me play almost identical to how I normally do. Like, I guess the best way I can say is, like, this adds on to what you already want to do with Tent. It just is more costly. This also comes with the negative of you really don't want to be running it with Cooler. I don't think it's a negative, but I know for a lot of people, they don't like playing Coolers. And, like, playing NS kind of requires you to play colorless. At least if you want it to work at its best. Obviously, you can just disregard it, but eh. Okay. Oh, we definitely don't get pop, whatever. But yeah, like in this case, I have a Gambit, and you'll notice, like, I have my speed basically back to normal. So, like, I just kind of get the benefits of, if I want to, I just disappear. In that case, I just whiffed on my fights, and I'm gonna... Oh, wait, thank you, teammate. They extended my Gambit for me. Wait, why are they going left? Excuse me? Thank you. But, like, here, just cause I have Gambit, I get to keep it a lot easier. But yeah, like, here's kind of another example of some tension shenanigans. I can just stay alive up here for a bit, get whatever I want, right? Pool of Axe just ended. Look at how hard it is to pin me down now. Like, I keep all of the speed, and I just am invisible if you're not looking for exclusively me. And even if you know I'm there, it's like, can you hit your shot? Charger's standing, or hunting for me. Oh wait, no, that's Dewey's, not Charger. Oops. Wow, we are really failing on defense. Yeah, like, here I'm just gonna kind of go in. I have some attention here. And now I can just vanish left side. My Gambit ran. Okay. Or my Gambit ran out. That's sad. Thank you. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Shot, please grab. Shot, please. I have a vac, please. Work with me here, brother. Please work with me here, teammates. Oh my Lanta, that was so much harder than it should have been. Okay, fine. I'll use vac to get you through the easy part since you're being such a coward. That's tragic. I shielded in the rain. I played that wrong. Because what I wanted to do was drop shield past rain and then just kind of steal it. Yeah, like, here's kind of a good example. There's a lot of... That's tragic, they just kept pinging my feet. Like, I wanted to just go left side, because they were focused on my shield, and if they were focused on where I was painting before, they'd focus on the right side. And if you do that, you're going to miss me going left. And, like, here's kind of another good example. I'm baiting Pro to look at the right side. Cool, like, it didn't fall for the trick entirely, but it doesn't matter, because I got into point-blank range. Like, that was more so me being bad than them playing good. Yes, Nautilus, I see you. Also, you don't get to spam this way when you literally failed to pick up rain, but whatever. I didn't mean to double pump, whatever. Because we need to get this moving. Yes, buddy, I'm moving. My shot's smart, they just cracking up there. Yeah, good. You just pop Kraken. What? That's one dead. I'm gonna need my teammate to pick up slack here. You gotta pick up slack, buddy. You have got to be kidding me. Or like, yeah, like honestly, that's kind of a perfect example of NS shenanigans, just because you aren't used to tracking NS typically. Also, like, if you want to get into some really nerdy shit, considering we're all comp players, or like anyone who's watching this, I'm assuming is a comp player, just by virtue of you watching me in particular. If you alternate between running like normal swim speed and NS, it's really rough to get used to. Because it's like, okay, I'm fighting 10, I'm used to tracking ripples, and suddenly you just don't have ripples to track. Also, like, again, another good example of NS. Like, it's so hard to track down what I'm actually doing. Look at how afraid they are. And I'm not even doing anything fancy, I'm just moving. I'm just moving slowly, and I'm making them look foolish. Please tell me we aren't going to let this happen. Thank you, teammates. God. But yeah, no, like, in general, NS isn't, like, restricting you to anything. Like, NS is just going to help you with what you already want to do. Like, I don't know. I think NS is absurdly good, especially if you want to practice it and you have a certain skill, like a certain skill set in mind that you want to practice. I just don't value it. Or okay, it's not that I don't value it. I value other stuff more. Anyways, give me the normal stuff. Again, I do actually think RP is pretty good. Like just showing that I am much more than just words. Like this is. Wait, hold up. Where is this? Yeah. Like at this build, this is my normal RP build. Wait, no, I run different shoes. Where is... I'm very sure this is my normal... This is what my RP build is. This looks right. But like, this is just what I run. This really is a thing, though, of you need to be really good at the weapon. Cause, like, let's say you hit this shot, cool. You're taking the enemy, like, a player out of the game for a lot longer. And if you do any fancy tent shenanigans, so like let's say you do this and you get 2 of them, sick. Like you just like if you can fight well enough, which again tent is kind of the king of fighting. You have this thing to just win fights for you, as long as you hit your shots. But like as long as you can hit 2 shots before you die, you'll be golden. Or like if you can hit 1.5 shots before you die, you're fine. And this can be super nice into things like here, let me sort by weapon class. Like this can be super nice into carbons, because a lot of carbons will actually just get point blank and try to just feed into you. It can be nice versus buckets. I really like it versus the entire Dewey class, because QR is a staple, typically. It can be really nice into other Brellas, because a lot of people run QR. I love it into blasters, it literally just shuts them down for free. Same thing with brushes, I love it. It doesn't matter much into bows, because bows don't matter, period. And I love it into, like, all the Tanas, because all of them run QR heavy, typically. But yeah, like, RP in general is super good if you want to play into it. And now I can talk about some of the weirder gear builds. So, first thing I actually want to hit is, something you will probably think I'm insane for, but bomb defense. The reason I bring up bomb defense is very beneficial when you are getting constantly chipped. So, fun fact about bomb defense, you can eat 4 bomb indirects. Like, that's 4 bomb indirects and I'm still alive. Oops, I got pushed away. And that's the 4th. Like, you barely live, yes, but you still do live 4 bombs, which is incredibly helpful. This isn't the biggest thing with Tent, yes, but if people are trying to throw bombs behind you, it can be very nice, because instead of being on, like, half health, or instead of almost being dead, you're just barely under half health. Okay, thank you. Thank you, random person. You are. We are going to ban you. Uh, I love when random people just join stream and it's like, oh yeah, have free viewers. I mean, yeah, the threshold doesn't happen too much, but you have to keep in mind this is like super beneficial into like buckets and stuff, like buckets, blasters, stampers, like a lot of the combos that like people fear. This is helpful into. And I'm not gonna say it's the like best thing ever, but I throw it out there because a lot of people sleep on the ability. Um, and like in a similar vein, I think a lot of people sleep on Ingress, especially on 10. Like Ingress is definitely something you would run much more heavily with like a movement build. Like this is something I have for my 10 build. Because I have like this is something I've ran in the past. And this just it doesn't quite let me walk through enemy ink for free, but it kind of does. Like it makes it so much harder to actually just pin you down, which is beneficial. And it's super nice because like between you shots, you don't get stuck. Again, not the end all be all, but again, it's super nice. Which is what a lot of like not I want to say secondary abilities, because that's kind of what it is. Like that's what's super nice about a lot of like secondary abilities and stuff. And then let's talk about something with that I honestly think is super beneficial on all the tents. But I think in particular Ascent benefits the most. And that would be sub power up. And there's one particular reason I say I think it benefits the most. Let me check stages real quick and see if there's... Because there's one thing in particular I'm looking for. Sick. Don't get me wrong, the sub power is great for all the subs. Like for Mist, you literally just get extra throwing range. And for Beacon, you just jump faster, but I think mine in particular takes away with it. No, that's fair. Once I was nice on V10, there's just other gear that I want to run. But yeah, this is effectively 1.1 sub power on both. This half caps zones. Like this half caps small zones. Which is super helpful because it won't stop. Oh yeah, no, it buffs literally every aspect of mine. It's crazy. Like for small zones, running 1.1 lets you basically full cap. Or it lets you half cap. And then with things like mine, it's super nice when you're fighting, like, in particular, like, Reef Cheese and stuff. Because, no, it won't stop it, but it can give you an almost instant, recap. Which is super helpful. Because, like, if you place a mine here, and you place a mine here, it pretty much half caps. Like, it's not perfect, but this is so close to half capping. Like, if you actually focus on some mine shenanigans, you can get it to half cap. And if you want to talk about, like, some other shenanigans, you can do stuff like this. And I've played, like, a build like this before. This actually does full out stop, Reef Cheese. Because they'll hit this one first, and it helps keep some of the zone painted. Then they'll hit this one, and it can stop them from capping. If they get all the way in here, I don't think it does, but eh. Again, it's just, there's a lot of nice things with Subpower. Like, it can just be super helpful. Like, again, I think Ascent benefits the most because mine gets absurdly buffed, but eh. And then QSJ is also something I recommend people mess around with a lot. Where is... I have a QSJ shirt somewhere built up. Yep, there it is. Ignore how hideous this build is. At one point in time, I thought this was a good build, and then I learned more things in general and was like, no, this is a terrible build, actually. But this is something you can run on Tent. And where this is super nice is you can force, like, all the way in. So, like, let's say I want to go in, I want to force, like, a 1v3. The second you're done, you just jump out. And I ran some numbers, like, if you join the campsite and you look for my name, you can see that I did run some numbers on it. Um, if you jump out consistently enough, it literally is more beneficial than quick respawn. Like, it just keeps you alive. Just keeps you alive, and you don't need to worry about getting back in or dying or anything like that. Let me see. Yeah, no, the hard part is finding good-looking builds at a certain point. But yeah, like, those are kind of the main secondary abilities I recommend people mess around with. QR is obviously nice. Special power can be really nice on, like, on the Tents. It just kind of depends on what you value. Like, let me run 1.1, because that's about what I'd recommend if someone wants to experiment with it. It's very beneficial on VAC, because with VAC, what it ends up doing is it's more consistent at long range, and it goes further. Like, I'm absorbing their ink from here. Like, the same distance that I can launch shield. Like, I guess that's not the same that I can launch shield from, but no, like, if someone's actually the distance away from, like, where my shield is, I can absorb ink from there. Like, the thing's reach is absurd. Like, a special power on VAC is super nice, because it makes it very consistent at the edge of your range, which is where VAC falls apart, the most. Yeah. It's both. Like, it's wider and larger. At least I think it is. I might be wrong on that, but I'm fairly sure it is. Who knows? Maybe I've gaslit myself for a few years. Give me by special. Oops. But I'm fairly sure that it's... I'm fairly sure it's distance as well. No, okay. It's just how wide it is. But again, it still makes it more consistent at the edge of your range. Like, either way. Actually, wait, why do I remember it being further? Hold on, let me test that. Because I do remember it being, like, consistently further with higher amounts. Okay, and then we do this. Yeah, no, this goes further. Like, it's... Okay. It does go further, it's not by as much as I remember it. Either way, it still makes the edge of your range much more consistent, which is really all that matters. So, like, if you want to mess around with it, go ahead. Especially, in, like, on all the Tents, I actually kind of like the effects. Because, like, with Ascent, you can do some... Arguably, this is niche. I really don't care, because I find it fun. With Zuka, what you can do is you can fire off 2 shots pretty quick, and you just hold for the rest of the time. And what holding it does, which is super helpful, is it's just a threat. Like, just keep it simple. Just keeping it simple. It's literally just a threat. Like, it's a threat that you have to deal with this, and you have to be aware of the fact that I will just one-shot you. Or that I can just randomly one-shot you for the next 3 seconds. So, like, let's say I shoot these 2 off, cool. And I just wait. Because now they have to be aware that this shot can come whenever. Yeah, there also is the AoE buff, but I really don't find the AoE buff all that helpful for it. Like, I've always just preferred it for the time increase. And then with chumps, it's super nice because it basically increases everything for chumps besides HP. But like, it increases the paint and explosion radius by a ton. So like putting chumps out here, that's just so much more dangerous. Like, I don't think everything, or like with enough, everything kind of just explodes. And I don't think it's the same without it. Special power is fine. That's just personal taste. Charge up's fine as well. Like these are just kind of personal taste of how much you value it. I do actively encourage people to mess around with Inksaver Main because it's very helpful. The other thing is, in particular, 2 subs of ink recovery. Like if you notice, I have it on a ton of builds, and the reason for that is, it just helps you recover a lot of ink quicker. Like every 5 frames, you gain 1 extra % of your ink tank back, which doesn't sound like a lot, but keep in mind, 5 frames really isn't that long of time. Like, I'm fairly sure that, like, this is 5 frames. Like, just moving like that, I'm fairly sure is 5 frames. And you gain 1 extra % of your ink tank in that. So, like, when you start swimming for, like, a period of time like this, you start gaining a considerable amount of ink back, which is super beneficial. Because, like, here, let me take off my... Yeah, let me run this real quick. And I'm just running this because I have this headpiece down here, which has 1.1 as well. Just because I want to show how nice it is for just recovering period. Because you can definitely feel it, because Tent has a ton of whiting frames. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not bad even now, like, if you know how to manage it. But let me run 2 subs of ink recovery, because 2 subs of ink recovery is very noticeable. Same thing, I'm just gonna throw out a shield. And as long as I'm in ink for a good bit more, like, I'm kind of just doing very similar things that I was last time. Like, as long as I'm swimming around a good bit, my ink does not vanish. It's super helpful. But again, I just would encourage people to mess around with it, because 2 subs is absurdly cheap. Like, for how much benefit you get, I honestly think it's worth messing around with, because it's just so cheap. Give me back my cat ears. Sorry, I want my normal build, so I don't need to hunt for it tomorrow. Let's see. Is there anything else that's kind of fancy that I want to talk about? I will say, just talking about Shredder on Tent, I think Shredder on Tent is fine. I just feel incredibly mixed, because it's not Stealth Jump. Like, I have my own biases, but I really do think Stealth Jump is perfect on Tent. And you have to have a really, really good reason to not be running Stealth, in my opinion. Obviously, if you just don't like Stealth, you don't like Stealth. And keep in mind that this is coming from my bias as, like, a D2 player who focuses primarily on comp. But still. The other thing I will say, like, this is entirely just because it's hilarious. Drop Roller Tent is incredibly funny. Where is... I have a build somewhere, which is for this weapon in particular. This is what the build is. Like, this is the build that I have for, Drop Roller Shenanigans. Drop Roller is very nice. Hold up. Yeah, beacons can help you get jumps back without stealth. Just the thing that I always am aware of with Tent, with how I play, is I play fast enough to where, like, beacons sometimes just do not matter to me. I just don't get time to place beacons. For the average player, though, yeah, beacons are probably more than good enough, but keep in mind, V10 is kind of the rare one. Like, C10's rarer, but... Actually, I think C10 and V10 are quite about the same. And again, like, just keep in mind that those are my biases. But yeah, I do want to play a game or two with Drop Roller, because Drop Roller Tent is hilarious, and I encourage people to play it, even just because it's fun. Like, keep in mind, the game is for fun. Have fun with it. People forget to do that way too often. Because, like, keep in mind, with beacons, you get 3 seconds of extra swim speed, run speed, and ink res. Now granted, it's only 3 seconds, but those only are in quotation marks. Because you can get so much done in 3 seconds. And if you want to talk about, like, NS shenanigans, you can do something similar with Drop Roller, just because of the increase in speed. Like, something that you can do if you really want to have fun with any weapon, this isn't just a tent. Run comeback with Drop Roller in a main of swim speed or run speed. Because effectively what can happen is if you die, you jump in and use Drop Roller, you're set to max speed. If you just die normally, you have 2 mins of swim speed. If you just Drop Roll normally, you have 4 mins of swim speed. And if you just play normally, like, you get nothing fancy, you have a main of swim speed. So it's really hard to pin you down just because you're consistently changing your speed. I should not have jumped there. Yeah, whatever. This seat is starting to get uncomfortable. Whatever. But yeah. Like, this is where it can just be some really fun shenanigans of just like, hi buddy. Oh wait, that's a beacon. That's mine now. I'm just gonna chill back here for a bit. Yeah, I don't even mind about dying there, because I saw 3 and my team gets back in. Yeah, like, here's a fun example of where Drop Roller thrives. That's a wiper. That's tragic. Honestly, I think as long as the wiper isn't, like, directly on my jump, I can have some fun with it. Because, like, you can kind of just get in someone's face in open shield, just because they dare to look at your jump funny. I know there's a wiper behind us, I just don't think it makes sense for me to go back and care about it. Is everything jumping over me? It is. Okay. You have got to be kidding me, I'm so peeved at that. Yeah, that's sad. I got bumped off because they were on the wall of tower. I should also talk about Tent on tower at some point. I'll probably do that after this game, if I remember. Because there is kind of an rotation, like, there's an idea, like, between a lot of tents, that, tent on tower is terrible, and that you need a secondary and stuff for it, and I can't disagree with it more. Because I honestly think one of Tent's best mode is tower control. And there's a few reasons for it. That's so annoying. I forget how weird it is not having my normal mobility gear. Sorry, I will complain about not having mobility gear because I have, like, thousands of games with a 1 gear build. So I'm very used to the game with that 1 gear build. However, okay. Oh no, there's so many more reasons for it to be fine on tower. Just in general, I hear a lot of people talk about how it's like a nightmare mode. God, I really need to... You know what, I'm gonna play a few games standing. I'm absolutely gonna start playing reverse, but I need to not be seated. Or not be seated. I really need to get back into trying to play. Standing up, I find it very fun. Especially because I know it's going to make some people concerned. My depth perception just feels very wrong right now, though. Like, all my decision-making stuff is just gonna go die. How far back did I normally sit? What? Or how far back was I standing when I last did this? Wow, that's so much further back than I thought it was. This is my tower now. Okay, let me do this. Sorry, the end of this game has just gone to shit because I need to stand with me. We're chilling. Honestly, like, that was the perfect timing to go over tower shenanigans. I'm about to die, yeah. I kind of realized the movement. Yeah, note to self, don't do this in the future of stand it, be tired and have gotten shots all in one day. It doesn't end well. It's fine though. It is what it is, and we keep moving on. No, that's fair. The fortunate thing with QR is really the only thing that you're going to be dealing with is, like, you're going to be respawning slower than you're used to, but I really don't think that's the end of the world. Especially because QR is not always active. I just run into issues because I always run swim speed, and I am suddenly lacking that consistent speed. Lacking that consistent speed sucks. Give me back my normal build. But yeah, I do want to just talk about some shenanigans with it. But the first thing I'm going to do is actually look at clips. Because there's something important that I need to bring up with Tenta in particular, and I'm not sure where my clips are with it. Okay, it's way further back than this. Is it further back than this? No, these are old clips, what? Y'all probably have to give me a bit so I can find it. But with Tent, there's a way to make your shield invincible. It's very limited, but it is doable and it's super easy to do on tower control in particular. The issue is I just do not know where that clip is. Because that clip is old. It's not that old. What? You know what? I'll just show you how to do it, because I am losing my mind of where that clip is. I promise it exists, like, if you join the campsite and, again, look at my name, or, what you can always do is ask me later. I might just in the comments of the video, or in the description, grab a clip to Invincible Shield Shenanigans. But it does exist. Let's go to Surgeon. Because I just want to talk about why I actually really like Tent on tower control. Because the biggest issue that everyone talks about with Tent is getting people off of tower. It's funny because I honestly think shorter towers are harder to get people off of with Tent, but even then I don't think it's that bad. Because you kind of just launch shield here, and you can just shoot for free. Like, just because of Tent being what it is, it's so hard to actually not get one shot like that. Anyways, here's the secret of how you make your shield invincible. You walk up to a wall, you go still, and you literally just open your shield. It's that simple. It's stupid. Like, you want to be right up against the wall, and ideally you don't want your camera to move, but doing this for at least the first few seconds of your shield, it's invincible. Like, it literally just takes 0 damage. And this works with all of the Brellas. I think it works with Undercover, I've just not seen it, or not Undercover, with Brella, because Brella is so quick. But yeah, no, like, you literally just go here, open shield, and suddenly your shield can just eat 7 bombs, and it just won't care. Or it can get shot by a Zuka, and it just won't care. I tested it on everything. It works on everything that isn't a melee option. So things like stamp, like ultra stamp, stamper, katanas, rollers, all of that. Kraken is weird because Kraken is technically considered a like for some reason the game considers Kraken to be an ink attack. So what happens is you get flung like 7 miles back from where you were, and the Kraken goes with you. But that's just weird, and I've not had that situation happen in game yet. I should also talk about Kraken clipping. I can talk about that after. But yeah, I do want to just talk about the easiest way to get people off a tower when towers are like this, because it's always like, oh yeah, it's so hard to do it. So fun fact about tower, if you stand here and you launch shield to one side of tower, for some reason the hitbox clips up. So like, let's say I launch shield here, right? I get on tower. If I'm on this side, shield will literally bump me over here. So what happens is you can launch shield here, and you shoot the left side, and your shield will force them into your shot. And it's incredibly stupid. Again, I can grab a clip of that later. Or hell, microwave, is there any chance you can play the game? That I can steal you for a PB real quick? Just because I'm planning to turn this into a VOD. And being able to show this would be nice. It won't be anything with Invincible Shield, it'll literally just be this, and it's super easy to get this. When it's all you're looking for. Here, let me back out real quick. But yeah, I can also ramble about Kraken clipping, because I have clips somewhere. I have so many clips on my... This is from Final Fest. It was way before Final Fest. When I looked at all of the... These are some old clips on my Atlanta. Do I have any of the... It's gonna take a second before I... Here it is. This is the escapades of Kraken clipping. So Kraken clipping, like, obviously it's pretty obvious you tore someone through the ground. But how it happened, or how it works, is weird. Actually, hold up, let me look back at these clips. Let me see if I have... Let me see if I can find, any Invincible Shield shenanigans. That's when I was messing around. Okay. Invincible Shield shenanigans happened way before this, then. I don't remember exactly when I started looking into it. That's screen stuff, that doesn't matter. At least not for this. Yeah, okay, these clips are way too late, whatever. Here, let me go to stage real quick. Sorry, this is all mutal all over, because there's like 7 things on my mind, which I'm thinking about. Oh, do none of these stages have, like, a good example of what I'm looking for? You know what, we're going to Crab Leg. Because all that you need for the Kraken clip to occur is insanely easy to happen, and a lot of people don't realize it. So, what it takes for a Kraken clip to occur is there just needs to be, like, basically 2 layers on top of each other. So, like, we were getting Kraken clips here when we were testing it, right? On paper, this looks like it should all be one solid floor, right? the theory that we have is that it isn't. And what happens is you launch shield like this, and if they charge at your shield here, it clips them under the floor here. And like a good example is like ramps and stuff. So like if I launch shield here, if a Kraken like dashes forward here, and it's at the top of a ramp, it clips them through the stage. I should have a fairly recent clip of this actually, which should make it fairly easy to see how it works. Yeah, there's the clip. So like right here, they pop Kraken, right? It's literally at the top of this ramp. And what happens is the game really freaks out and just clips them through the floor. And it just happens because there's basically a scene at the top of the ramp. And it just doesn't matter what you do, you just vanish into the void, is the Kraken. And I love it. But yeah, like that's how Kraken clipping works. It's not something you can consistently like set up all the time, but you can set it up a lot more consistently than you would think and people would give credit. So I'm trying to think if there's anything in particular that I feel like I'm missing. I know I'm definitely missing a lot of things when talking about Tent. Like I've not talked about the main differences I see between all the kits. You're here, let me do that now. It's not an object. Like it has to so it has to be able to like there. So here, like there's instead of this just being one solid object, we're fairly sure that this is like two objects, right? Or like this is two pieces of stage geometry. So if they interact with shield at the top of it, it clips them through one of them, you know, under the other one. So it forces you through the map. Anyways, talking about like the differences of kits. I think C10 is like the best for just pure area control, because you can do some stuff like this, and like you can literally shut down the entire map. Like you jump one area, you missed one area, and then you missed the other area, and you shield another. Like it's insane how much space you can control for free with this kit when it's up and going. Because like here, let me actually do something half decent with it. Those mists are right on top of each other. But like with this, I can cover like that right side for free. I can cover the left side with chomps, and I can use shield going forward like this. So you can just control 3 separate areas, and it's such an offensive powerhouse. Because it's like, you really don't want someone to go here, you just want shield, throw, mist, cool. There really isn't a clean way past. And you can just repeat this as many times as you want. And then you get into S-Tent. S-Tent's weird. The way that I look at S-Tent is S-Tent's kind of the jack of all trades. Because S-Tent has an answer for basically everything. Because like if you want some help up close, you have Mines and Shenanigans. If you want help at a range, you have Zuko. And it's a very aggressive kit if you're playing it independently. Like you can do a lot of shenanigans between Mines and Shield, and Zuko and all that stuff. All good, don't sweat it. And then, like, with V-Tent, I think V-Tent is the strongest of the kits. I obviously have my own bias. But, like, what this kit is really good at doing is supporting its team in basically any way that it wants to. But what it's really good at doing is shutting down or forcing a play to happen. So, like, let's say you're looking at a very defensive play. You can sit here, paint, and then vac. And this is just really, really hard to actually get past. Because, like, you do that, and then you can do another shield. For context of the rough HP of that, that's like throwing 3,000 HP at the enemy team. It's very rough. Or if you want to look at the other side, it's really good at forcing a play to happen just between shield and back, because the distance that it covers is a lot further than people think. Like, I'm just gonna launch shield at the edge of shield, pop back, and then just see how far I can go. So like, this is just going forward normally with back, cool. And then I'm just gonna fire this back, because that's how far you can arguably go. Like, look at the distance this covers. You can cover an absurd amount of distance if you really want it. Like, this push is, or this, not push, this kit is really good when you're working with your team. If you don't have a team to work with, this kit struggles a bit. I still think it's an incredibly good and potent kit, it just struggles more. And then you obviously beacons, you can use beacons, like, selfishly or aggressively. Or not selfishly or aggressively, like, you can use it selfishly or for the team. There's not really a right or wrong way to do it, it's just personal taste. But this kit definitely leans a lot more towards supportive. I think a straight shot is better for, or no, I don't think a straight shot is better for Vac, because I think it's about the same distance. Like, I think as long as it's not straight up, but eh. Like, you are correct, that is just how gravity works. Here, let me run Swig real quick, because I can get Vac quicker to test it. Because, like, let's just do this here. This is me just spamming Y. That's about as far as it goes. And then there's a full Vac. Hooray. And then just pop this here. I do not want any of that to get absorbed, whatever. No, it actually goes further arcing it up. We love this game. I don't remember why, but this is where the core of it is arcing up. I blame the devs. Obviously, if you aim it straight up, it reduces its range, but we love back shenanigans. Physics don't exist in this. This is a fictional Squid Game. Why would you care about something as puny as physics? Yeah. Also, like, if you aim straight up, Vac is absurdly stupid, just because of its travel time. Because it takes half a year to fall down. Anyways, yeah, don't just Y reset, because the game does not care. Also, wait, no, actually thinking about it, it makes sense. This actually does follow physics, because a straight line doesn't matter, because it's going to fall down faster. Like, if you throw something 90 degrees, it's going to fall faster. Because, like, for typical throwing stuff, you want to throw it 45 degrees up, because it'll go a similar distance, but gravity helps it. And then the same thing, if you throw it all the way up, you start losing distance. So yeah, no, like, arcing it up like this is better. Sorry, my brain failed me for a second with physics. Like, you aren't wrong on the geometry part of it, but it's more so gravity and physics, which is what makes it weird. But yeah, like, I think those are the big things with Tent. Like, there's obviously a lot more to Tent. Like, if you want to start getting into a lot of specifics with 10, like, you want to be playing closer if you can. Like, playing in this one-shot range is a lot more consistent than at this range. But that's a lot of stuff for coaching. What I'll probably try to do is stream any coaching that I do with Tent. Or for Tent. Just because that gets into a lot more specific stuff. But this should cover almost anything if you want to get into the weapon. And at least get a good basis of the weapon. The number one tip I will give you though, like this goes to any Tenta player who plays it now and wants to get better. Literally, the biggest favor you can do. Wait, I, I don't feel like running the risk of giving my or showing my name from the Switch. But the biggest advice I can give you is just unbind your B button and learn to play without jumping. It's gonna feel wrong, but if you can learn to play the game while not jumping with Tent, you're gonna thank yourself later. Because it makes your one-shots more consistent, it makes your shield more consistent, it means you can move out of things a lot faster. Like, literally, there are so many benefits to learning to play without jumping. It's absurd. Learning to play without jumping is the number one piece of advice I would give people if I need to just say one thing that they need to work on. Anyways, wow, that was a lot of yapping. That was a lot of yapping. Since this is going to be a video, if you have any questions to ask, I will get around to responding eventually, I promise. That or just send me a message on Discord, and I will talk about anything that you ask. I probably won't do random coaching for people. I will do coaching for people that I know or know that want to play how I do, or want to learn to play how I do, but beyond that, yeah, just ask. I enjoy yapping about the game. You know, shocker, someone who's been here for 3 hours. Enjoys yapping. Moth, I will literally block you. I am done with that shenanigan. Anyways, that is besides the point. I'm going to end stream there. Yeah, see y'all. Okay, thank you, computer. Let me end the stream, please. Computer, please, I am begging you. Let me kill stream. I have hit stop streaming like 7 times. Free me from this prison. I'm like half tempted to just nuke OBS. Like just kill it through task manager, but let's see if I can. You know what? I'm just gonna open task manager. I was worried about it messing with the download, but like I got nothing, Chief. I want the streaming. I want the stream to stop. I'm not going to kill my computer. You know what? We're just gonna task manager OBS. And if something happens, it happens. And if I'm stuck streaming, I'm going